In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create the executive dashboard. And just as a note, in the first video, what we're going to do is teach you how to create the sheets in Tableau, the individual sheets. And then in the second video, we'll show you how to put all those sheets together into a dashboard. And this is what the dashboard is going to look like. You'll have a logo over here on the left, the title Executive Dashboard. On the right, you'll have a custom filter system. Notice when you hover over this is Filter Dashboard by Furniture, and you can click on that. And it will bring up the sales for furniture, the profit, number of orders, customers. You can do that with office supplies. It shows you where in the country and the profit timeline, and also technology, how much we're in sales, profit, number of orders, number of customers. Double click that again and it goes back to all. So if you notice right here on the summary for all categories, when you check furniture, it brings up furniture right here, the furniture sales, what it is in the United States, who had the best. You can click over these lines and see, okay, September 7th of 2014, the profit was $1,300. The rolling 6 weeks, 6-week moving average, the profit was only $267. And you can see these right here. You can also click on the states for furniture. You have California, you get the profit for all of these. And then we can double click here and it brings up all this. You can also do it by region. So you can select, I just want the West region in this. So you can look at the West. You can see what's going on here. They had a big profit on one day, or March 19th, something happened over there. And again, this is a very nice interactive report, and it also shows profitability at a glance for the Western region. And you can hover over these. The profit for California was $76,000 in the Western region for that time period. Utah, Wyoming. So notice that it brings up what it is. And you can go back, we can click all, and it brings everything up. So a nice dashboard. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. The first thing that you will need to have done before we start this dashboard is you'll need to have downloaded these icons or different icons that you want to use for technology, office supplies, and furnitures. And what you do is you right click on the icon and save image as, and there is a tutorial already on it, but you'll need to see the tutorial in the Tableau resources or on this particular module that talks about how to save the icons in custom categories, and you need to do this first if you haven't already done it. So click on and save each of those icons on your desktop, and then what you'll do is you'll move into a custom categories folders in your Tableau, but we have a tutorial that explains that. So you'll need to do that first. Next, go ahead and download the data set right here by clicking this download button here on the right of this. So if you just click on this, it'll just bring it up, but you need to download, it'll be Tableau Superstore Sales. You'll use this actually for 2 assignments, and just go ahead and download that. Okay, so let's get started. This is the pages that we're going to build right here. So we have page 1 or sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, 4, 5, 6, just up here at the top, and then the dashboard. And so right here is our data source. That was sheet 6, and we'll put it all together into something that looks like this. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new file. Excuse me. And this will take a second for Tableau to open a new file here. So let me open a new file right here. And if we haven't already done it, so normally when you log into your Tableau, you'll go right to the page that shows connect to a file. And so we want to connect Microsoft Excel. And then we're going to choose the Tableau Superstore information that we had just downloaded. And so I've chosen that. It'll take a minute. Now, once it's loaded right here, we have this information right here. It's got our connections on the left, different sheets. These are different files inside that. And so what we want to do is use the orders and we take orders and drag it into tables. Don't do anything with people and returns right now. And it might take a second. And when it comes up, you now have all your information here inside Tableau that came in from that Excel file. Okay, so this is where we got. This is what we've got right now, and we need to make sure it all comes in. So go to our worksheet now, down here at the bottom, sheet 1. That's what we're going to start with. And we pull up the sheet. The first thing we're going to do is rename the sheet. Let's go ahead in here and right click on the sheet, go to rename. And what we want to rename it is O1 menu. Okay. And I'm going to try to go a little slow so you can follow along easily. So we rename that O1 menu. Now under marks, we're going to spend a lot of time in marks. And when I talk about marks, over here we got our tables with our measured names, which is above all of this. Everything was the ABC. We've got some globes, we got some calendars. But this is text information. Down below here, this is numeric information under measured values. Now over here we have pages, filter, and marks. We're going to spend a lot of time in marks. So when I talk about marks, this is where it is, right here. It's in this area, again, right here. And then we'll spend some time over here. So we want to go to marks. So page, filter, and marks. The first thing we want to do is right here where it says automatic, is go ahead and click this drop down menu. And we're going to look at shape. So these are different things you can bring in: bar, line, area, square, text, map. These are different things: a Gantt bar, chart, polygram, density. We can bring all these things into marks, but what we want to bring in is shape. So you notice when I click on this, we now have shape here. It says new in this area. Okay, so that's the first thing we want to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take category up here under tables, ABC categories, and your measured name, the very top, and we're going to drag that into the shapes. And now it gave us our shapes. So it chose for us. It's got this circle over here on the right and this furniture, and it made a filter over here way on the right, and this gave us our shapes. And if you know, I can hover over this. It's got category furniture, office supplies, technology. Now I'll do that again. What I did is took category and just dragged it into shapes. Now that's not the shapes we want. If you remember over there, we had icons for that. So what we're going to do right now is click on shapes, and it brings up, we can choose different shapes, and we're in a default menu. And what we're going to do is, if you'd already done the first step in this, which was downloading your icons and putting it into the right folder, when we click on default, we go down here to custom categories, and we click on custom categories. Now you can see I have a couple computers and I've got other things in here, so I've shown how to do that a couple times and left these in my category. So we have custom categories, and these are different icons that are in there, and these are the ones that you built. Now I got to choose which icon I want. So I go over here and click on furniture. All I do is highlight it, and I want that one to be furniture. And office supplies, I click on office supplies. I want this little cup with a ruler and pen and pencil. And for tech, I click on tech, and I'm going to choose computer. And then I click apply and OK. And now I've got these little itty bitty icons over here underneath where it says O1 menu. I don't want them that small. I count them kind of a little bit bigger so we can see them. And to be able to do that is we're just going to click size now under marks. So one of the things is we have size. It knows we're dealing with this, so click on size. And we have a slider bar right here, and all we're going to do is grab that and slide it over about 3/4 the way. And you can see it's a little bit bigger now. So that's a good size icon. You know, we don't want it too big. So just about 3/4 of the way right there. And now we have the icon. Okay. So we've done that. The next thing we're going to do to this sheet is we're going to rename this O1 menu up here. We're going to right click and click edit title in the menu. So the menu right above the icons, click edit title, and it brings up our text editor. So this is our title editor right here. And what we want to do is we just want to call this select categories. but we want this kind of small right here. So select category, well, actually we want to select category. Okay, we're just selecting one at a time. But I like this being Tableau medium so I can read it. This Tableau light is too light sometimes. And then we want this at a 9 point alt. So we just want it small up there in the corner. Okay, and click apply and OK. And I'll show you why if we go back here. See up here at the top in our bar, it's just select category. Is it small up there, and we can choose our category, and that's what we're doing right here. Well, to complete this, we got a couple of other things to do over here in Tooltip. Okay, the reason why we want to do this here in Tooltip is if you notice when I hover over this, it says filter dashboard by furniture, by office supplies, by tech. We're going to do that. We're going to create that here in the Tooltip. So click on Tooltip under Marks, and the very first thing it just says category right here. So we're editing this Tooltip, and we want this to say filter dashboard by, and a little hint, you have to leave in this thing of this categories on the right. Okay, that's an insert. But we have to leave that in. Don't erase that. Just to the left of this, where it just said categories, we're just going to replace that to filter dashboard by. We can leave this information right here in. If we want to make it medium, we can. Right there. But this is it. The other thing we need to do while we're in this edit tooltip is we need to uncheck include command buttons and uncheck allow selection by category because we're building it ourselves. Okay? And then we click OK. So what I did in here was I changed this first, it just said category in here. I changed to filter dashboard by. I unchecked include command buttons and I unchecked allow selection by category and click OK. Okay? Now if we've done this correctly, when I hover over these, it should say filter dashboard by furniture, office supplies, and technology. And we have just created our first sheet. Okay, so we're done with this one. Now let's go on to sheet number 2. This has got a little bit involved in it, so please follow along. So let's go ahead and create our new sheet by going down here at the bottom and clicking on create new sheet or new sheet. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename this. And we're going to call this O2 ban. Okay. And this is the banner that we are creating right here. This middle banner summary categories, for all categories right here. We're creating this band right here that shows sales, profit, number of orders, number of customers, and the amount. So that's what we're creating here. So the first thing we're going to do after we've renamed the sheet is we're going to take sales down here in measured values. Now, one of the things we want to do at this point is we want to make sure that sales and profit and these numbers don't give us decimal points and that they all are in dollars. So what we're going to do is over here on profit, and we're going to do this for sales and profit. So on profit, first go ahead and click this down button on profit, and we can go down to default properties. That's what we want to do. So go down to default properties. I just didn't see it right there really quick. It's down here at the bottom. So right click on profit on that drop down, go to default properties and number format. Okay. Now when number format comes up, we have a few options. What we want to do is, this is currency. We want to use it in currency, but we want custom. And what we want to do is already it's set for 2 decimal points. And if you notice back in some of the Excel things that we did before, we always got rid of some of the decimal points, especially when dealing with large amounts of money and volume, because in profit, I don't necessarily need to see the decimal points. So go choose currency custom and 0 decimal points and click OK. Now, if you didn't get that, and what we did with profit, we're going to do that again with sales. So just make sure you do it with sales and profit. So here in sales, go ahead and click the drop down. Scroll down till you find default properties. And under default properties, we're going to choose number format. Then it's going to have a pop-up up here. Now we're going to choose currency custom. So we just scroll down, find currency custom. And we don't want the decimal points. So on decimal places, we just take that down to 0 and click OK. And you'll see why here in a little bit, because we just don't want the decimals. So now we can go back here that we've formatted profit and sales. Go ahead and grab sales and drag it into the text box under marks. Okay? And if you did it right, you should have this little pop-up right here that says $2,297,201, and that was the total sales. Okay. Now, all we're going to do this, just double click on profit. And we start building a table. Tableau builds a table for us. So this is what we want. We got our profit and we got our sales right there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the number of orders and customer ID. Now, over here on the left, we go to ABC under measured names, and we got order ID. Okay. I'm just going to show you this. I don't want you to follow with me on this right now. If I just down or click the drop down, I can actually convert this to a measure. I can convert this from a numeric text to a number. But if I did that, it would drop this down into measured values from measured names, and I don't want to do that. Though we do want to convert the information into a numeric number. So I'm going to show you how to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to take order ID and we're going to drag it into marks underneath where it says measured values. And then all of a sudden we get all of this information. Okay. So that's every individual order. And it just keeps going. Okay. If you notice, it's got these 3 dots over here way on the right. These 3 dots means more information. So we have order ID. Again, let me do that again. All I did was I went here from ABC order ID under the tables and measured names, and I dragged it into marks under measured values. Now here we're going to convert it from into a numeric number. So we're going to right click or click on the download, and we're going to scroll down to measure. Now what do we want it to measure? Right now it's a dimension. We want to change it from measure, and we want count distinct. So count distinct is the actual number of orders. Okay? And then we're going to take it and we're going to drag it into measured values. We're going to do this again with customer ID. So if you missed part of this, we're going to do this with customer ID. So go back up here, ABC customer ID. We're going to grab that and put it into marks under measured values. And these are the unique customer IDs. We're going to click on it. We're going to right click on the drop down in customer ID. We're going to scroll down to measure, and we're going to choose count distinct, which is this distinct number of customers. Now you might have a customer that ordered multiple times, but it's still a distinct customer, and that's what we want. And now we're going to drag the distinct count of customers, and we're going to put it under order ID here in measured values. And now what we have is we see that we got our profit, sales, distinct count of order ID. This is the distinct number of orders, and this is the distinct number of customers. We have 793 customers who placed 5,009 orders for a total of 2.2 million in sales and $286,000 in profit. Now we're going to rearrange this order right here. Usually you show sales before profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag sales and we're going to put it above profit. Now you need to be careful when you do this, because if you know one of the things about Tableau, and you've already seen me do this, if you drag one of these and you drag it off of this field, you know that it actually just drags it out and basically deletes it or undoes. It undoes, whatever, what you did. So what we want to do is we want to take sales and drag it above profit until you get this little tick mark on the left. See the mark? Oops, and I lost it there. So that's one of the things that we can do. Command Z, bring it back. I want sales above profit right there. Okay, and that changed it here in my band. So I got sales, profit, distinct count of order ID, and distinct count of customer. Okay, so now that we're here at this part, one of the things that we want to do here is we're going to take and move where it says measured names up here at the top in rows. We're going to take that and move it into columns. So let's take measured names and move it into columns, and now it takes it from a table that's going down to across. The other thing we're going to do is right here above measured names, we have, this is a standard view. If we drop down, we can fit the width, we can fit the height. We want to choose entire view, and it takes it out to look like this. Okay, so we're building this. Okay, this is what we're building. It goes across like this. Now we're just going to do some formatting and change a few things around. The first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to rename some of these. So on distinct count of order ID, that's not what we want to call it. Distinct count of order ID, what is that? That's number of orders. So we're going to right click on that and click edit alias. So go to the top, right click and edit alias, and we're just going to choose retype this number of orders. I want to keep things simple. Okay. Now we're going to do this again. Distinct count of customer ID. What would we rename this? We would rename it number of customers. So let's right click on there, click on edit alias, and then this will just be renamed number of customers, and click OK. Okay. Now the next step that we want to do with this is, if you noticed on the sheet here, let's go back to here, that we have big numbers right here, and we can go to the sheet. We can actually look at, this is what we're going to build. We notice we have the categories down here. Now sales, profit, number of orders, number of customers, and this we have a new title up there. Now this isn't what we're going to do yet here, because we're going to build this title in the dashboard, and when we build it in the dashboard, it does change it on the sheet. Okay. But what we are going to do is down here where it says measured names, we're going to take measured names right here, and we're going to move it into text. So now we have our measured values and our measured names. So measured names under the tables, all I did was move it into the text box under marks, and it put these underneath here. So now we have our sales, profit, and notice this one a little bit different. Okay, number of orders, number of customers. We're going to have to change that around a little bit. That does happen sometimes. Okay, so we're in this, and we'll see if I can correct it easy. It's not always easy to do. We might have to take this off, okay, and redo that. So measured names. Oops, I just created a new sheet. Let me get rid of that. And measured names, move it into the text box. Okay, and it still did that in there. But we'll correct it. So here we go. What we're going to do now is we're going to format some of this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is click on text up here, and we've got measured names and values. We're going to click these three dots, and we got measured names and measured values. So what we want to do is on measured values is what we want. We want the bigger number, so we want the value to be big here. So under measured values, we highlight that. We're going to choose Tableau Medium. We're going to choose a 20-point font to start with, and we can always bold that and apply and OK. Okay, and now you see it kind of corrected that right there where I had it different, but once we changed it, Now I've got sales above my value, and I actually want it below. So if we look on our chart, we can see that it's below, and on our sheet right now it's above. And I'm going to show you how to fix that here in just a minute. But now go back into text. We're going to do that in text. In alignment, we want to, on the horizontal, we want to align the middle into the center, and the vertical align again into the middle center, and it will say middle center, and it centers this. Okay. Now we can stay in text, or we can, if we close out, go in again. I'm going to show you how to put sales, profit, and order IDs under there, and click on this. Now it's not as easy as dragging this down below. What we need to do is, the easiest way is we're going to copy, paste, then delete. So we need to highlight this. So we highlight it. Control C to copy, or Command C depending upon which computer you're using, a PC or Mac. So copy it. Go next to measured values, enter, Control V or Command V, paste it. Okay, and then let's delete this one at the top, and just delete that. Space, and when we hit apply, notice that it goes to the bottom. So don't make it very difficult. We're just copying, pasting it, and putting it at the bottom. Apply and OK. Now click anywhere off of there. The last thing, we got two things we're going to do here. Well, actually about three. We're going to go up here and hide this headers. Up here, we don't need this anymore. So go up here and just right click, and where it says show header, we're going to uncheck it. Okay, and then we got rid of the header. The next thing is on the title. We're going to edit the title. So go up there, right click on the title, and this is going to be summary, all capped, summary for category. And we're just going to leave it that way for now, and we can make it medium and apply and OK. And when we build the dashboard, we're actually going to bring in we're going to go here to analysis, or a calculated field that's going to allow us to change this over here for which category when we click any of the filters. And then the last thing we're going to do is, we notice that this had a green color background, so we're going to do that. Go up here into format at the top, so all the way at the top, format, and this is our shading, just like we did in all of our Excel stuff. We had our fonts, our alignments, shading, borders, and lines. We're going to click on shading, and it brings up this to the left. So it's a format shading. We should be used to that in seeing some of the things in Excel. And the first thing is default and worksheet, and we are going to format this worksheet. Here right now it's just white, so if we click on that, we get this. And I don't like how this brings up in more opaque colors, but that's what we're going to use, and it's hard to see sometimes, but we're going to go to our dark blues and stuff over here to a green, and we're going to choose this green, and now we have this background, this green background that we're going to check and use for just like we have here on the executive dashboard. The colors are green, so we got a green logo, green background, and this green. So we're just making it more aesthetic, and we're following what could be, you know, the color scheme for a company and what their colors are. So we're just going to choose that green. The other thing is, while we're in here, this is still open. While we're in here, we're going to go from the color scheme to the borders. So right over here, you got text, you got font, alignment, shading, borders. Click on borders, and we're going to go down here into row divider. So just follow down here to row divider. Pane is none, and column divider is none. If there's something in there, just click none on both the pane and column dividers. And now we have completed this sheet. So that's the end of sheet number 2. Now to go on to sheet number 3. So this is what we have. Go click down here at the bottom, create a new sheet. Go ahead and rename it. And what we're going to rename this is 03 title. So just O3 title in here. Okay. And we can go ahead and rename this up here. We're going to edit the title. We can edit that. It's just going to be profitability at a glance for region is what we're going to name it. So profitability at a glance for region. And I'll leave that up there for you just for a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and do Tableau medium and bold and apply and OK, because this is the sheet we're building right here. Number 3, title, profitability at a glance for region. And we're just going to leave that way, the way we did it on our sheet. And this is what it's going to look at our dashboard, profitability at a glance for all regions. And you know, if we go down here and choose, unclick these, and notice if we just have West, it says West region, and if we choose West and South, it shows profitability at a glance for South and West regions. And we will build this when we build the dashboard. Okay, but for now, this is how we want it on our sheet. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is we're going to go here under ABC, our categories, under measured names. We're going to find ABC region, and we are going to move this into detail under marks. So we're going to take ABC region, we're going to drag it into detail. Now when we do this, it gives us these little dots here. If you notice, I can scroll over these little dots and they just tell me the 4 different regions. But we don't need this here. We don't want this to be seen. So we're not going to delete it, but what we're going to do is go here to size, click on size, and before we took it to the right, now we're going to take it all the way to the left. Small as possible. Okay. And then we're going to go here to color. So on size, again, we just moved it to the left. Click on color under marks. And the opacity, we want to take it to 0%. And so now we just have this. This is what is being shown. Excuse me. And we had just completed number 3. Let's go on to number 4. Okay, sheet number 4. So click on new sheet. Let's rename it. And this is our 04 profitability map. That's what we're going to name it. We're not going to rename this title. The reason why is we're going to actually get rid of the title later on when we build our dashboard. So to build this, all we're going to do is here in state under the tables, scroll down to state. It's in the measured names area, and just double click. So if you worked with us on some of our other assignments, you know that one of the great things about Tableau is being able to create maps. And we just double clicked, and now we have a map of the United States. At least the 48 states in the continental United States. Okay. Now what we want to do is we're going to drag, go down here to profit, up here in the measured values, to profit, and we're going to drag this into color. Now, Tableau chooses a color scheme for us, and it shows here that the orange is losing money and the dark blue is actually making money. But these are not the colors that we want, so we're going to change the colors. So over here, we're going to click on color. We're going to click on edit colors, and in this, we have our color palette. It is set at automatic. We don't want to do that. We're going to click this, and we're going to scroll down till we see green to gold. Green and gold. Okay. And gold is our loss, and dark green is our profit. So we want to do green to gold, apply, and OK, and this helps match to our green color scheme. We can see that New York and California have the highest profit, 76,000 in profit. New York 74. Washington has a little bit. We can go down here. That's still New York, Virginia, and we see that in Texas we lose money. So we got to see what's going on. We can drill down further, and we need to learn more about why Texas is losing money and why we're doing so well in California and New York. Okay. So believe it or not, this is all we do with this map for now. So we're done with number 4, and let's go to number 5. Okay, so click on new sheet, and we are going to go ahead and rename this sheet. Just rename it 05 Profit Timeline. And we're going to do a few things here that I need you to follow along very carefully with. And if you've been with us in some of our other videos, you know that we've done some things with order date, where we change the dates, to days and things like that. So follow along here. What we're going to do is we're going to take order date and we're going to move it into columns. And now it's building us this little area right here. We got our order date, 2014, 15, 16, and 17. We don't want year. So we're going to click on order date here, and we're going to go down and choose week number. Okay. And it's going to bring up all of our week numbers. The other thing we need to do is go ahead and click on this, and we need to make sure it's continuous. So if it still says discrete, make sure it's that continuous is checked. So we want week number and continuous. So we can also do it this way. I can take order ID or order date, move it into columns. Again, click on it. I can choose continuous, and I can choose week number. It may choose it for you sometimes when you just choose week number. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is come down here to profit, where we have our number, profit, and our measured values area, and we're going to drag that into rows. And it just created our profit timeline, okay, from 14 through 2017. And what we're going to do here, believe it or not, we're going to take profit again and drop it into our rows. So now we have two graphs. Okay. So this is what it looks like, and what we're going to do is we're going to combine these graphs, and it's going to look like this in the end. So we have our weekly timeline and we have our rolling average timeline right here. Okay. So we're going to create both of those, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So in the second one, we got sum of profit, and then we got sum of profit. In the second one here on the right, what we want to do is click this drop down, and we're going to go to quick table calculation. So in the second profit, quick table calculation, we're going to go over here, and we're going to move this to moving average. So this is a rolling average. It's a moving average. It's used quite a bit in accounting and in business to see what your 4-week, 6-week, rolling average is. Especially in forecasting, you will use that. But again, click the down button in there, quick table calculations, moving average. Okay, and now this changes it to a 2-week, or to a 3-week moving average, and we want to change it to a 6-week moving average. To do that, we're going to click here again and go to now edit table calculation. That wasn't a choice before because we hadn't done a table calculation, but now we want to edit the table calculation, and we get this pop-up. Now it's okay with all those numbers down there at the bottom. Don't worry about this. So right now it's the calculation type is saying moving calculation. It says the average is the previous 2 weeks, and you got your current week, but we want average previous to next 0. Let's go ahead and click that, and we're going to change this to 5. Okay, and so we have our current value plus 5. That's a 6-week rolling average, and go ahead and click the X, and it gets rid of all of those numbers. So these are our 2. Okay, so this is what we have right here. What we're going to do now is go ahead and click on the sum of profit again. And you can do this with either one now. But now we're going to do is we're going to create a dual axes. So we're going to put these together on the same graph, same chart. And so again, up here to sum of profit, click the drop down, and we're going to choose dual axes. And it also changes the color for us, which was kind of nice. It's not the colors we're going to keep, but it changes that to let us know that we have 2 different lines here, so we can see them. So now here we have our 2 axes, both our left and our right, and we have our dates down here at the bottom. So on the right, go ahead and click it. And what we want to do is go from dual axes to now synchronize the axes. So on this right side, synchronize the axes, and now it comes in together where the 0 point is the same for both. And while we're in here, we're also going to go in here and get rid of show header on this right side, because we don't want this right, because we have the information on both the right and the left. So we're going to unclick show header, and this will expand it. And we're not quite done with this yet. We're going to do a couple more things. We want to change these colors, and so an easy way to change the color again is just go here into color scheme, edit colors, and it's giving us our two colors right there. The blue is our moving average, the profit is this orange. But what we're going to do here is on select color palette under automatic, we're going to go down and choose, is just 3 down, colorblind. And the reason why we're choosing colorblind is easy to see. If somebody's colorblind, it's hard to see some type of greens and blues together, but we're doing that. And so we're going to choose colorblind, and just like we've done before on our icons, we're going to click on this moving average, and we're going to choose this orangey brown color here, and then on profit we're going to click on profit, and we're going to use this gray, and then hit apply and OK, and now we have this gray with this brown, which is easy to see, just like we have in this chart right here. Okay. So not quite done yet with this. We got to change. Tells you where I grew up in the South and stuff. We need to change the title up here. So go up here and click Edit Title, and we're going to do a couple things on this when we format. And this is the title is Profit Timeline, and my fat fingers, I sometimes go too fast, and then parentheses, we're going to do 6, yeah, I know, 6 week, okay, I don't need that, rolling average. And I need to spell average right. Now what we're going to do here is go ahead and highlight the whole thing and make it medium. But on here on this bottom, on this 6-week rolling average, we want it to be small. So just highlight that area, and we're going to format it, and we want to take that down to a 9. Click apply and OK, and we have that here on this. So, you know, profit timeline, 6-week moving average, 6-week rolling average. Okay, either one works. Okay, so 6-week moving average, 6-week rolling average means same thing. Okay, and so we have that right there. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to change some of our borders again. So format up at the top. All right, Microsoft Word, I'm not using you. Format at the top, we're going to go to borders, and we're going to go here to divider. It's in dividers. We're going to scroll down to the bottom to row divider, none, and column divider, none. Okay, and that's what we're going to do on that, and we just completed sheet number 5. Okay, get X out of that, and now let's do sheet number 6. So go ahead and click on this one for a new sheet, sheet number 6, and while we're at it, we're just going to rename it. This is our footer, just rename 06 footer. And we're going to go ahead and go to here, we're going to go up to the top now. Before we do anything, we're going to do the top analysis. And we're going to go here where it says create calculated field. And I know this part's going to be a little weird or strange for you as to how what we're doing and why, but just follow along and you'll see why. Create calculated field, and we want to call this blank. just blank. Okay. And our calculation is our double quotes. That's it. And it says this calculation is valid. So just put in double quotes right next to each other, apply, and OK. And if you notice now, we have this up here that says ABC blank. So it created a new thing for us, and we're going to leave that there for right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to change the title. Okay. Follow along with me with the title on how we're going to do this. So right click, edit the title, and the title name on this is going to be Data Source. And one of the great things about Tableau is it will bring in our data source. So this is the Tableau Superstore Student Edition of our data file. And so that's our data source. So go right here, data source, and then insert here on the right. We're going to do this a few times when we build our dashboard, but right now, click insert and data source name. Okay, so it's going to add the data source name, do a space, as of, type in as of, and now we're going to do the date update time, data update time. And so that's our title. The other thing we want to do here is go ahead and highlight the whole thing, and I'm going to make this a Tableau medium, but we're going to take this to a 9-point font. We're going to italicize it, so Tableau medium 9 italicized, and then we're going to justify this to the right justification on alignment. Okay, and now apply and OK, and you see that it now says up here in our title is aligned to the right, data source as of unknown, update time in there. And now the last thing that we're going to do on this is over here under tables in our blank category, we're going to take this blank and we're going to put it into text. And now it tells us data source Tableau Superstore Student 1 edition. When I downloaded it, 4/12, last time I accessed at 11:01 a.m. Okay, so that shows our data source. We have now completed all 3 of our sheets. Sorry, all 6 of our sheets, and we're getting ready to go and do dashboard. But I'm going to do dashboard in another video. But I just wanted to go through each of the sheets right here. But now we're going to go in and create our dashboard here, and you'll be able to see that in the next video. But again, we completed each of our sheets right here. So very good job. And good luck. We'll move forward with creating the dashboard. So we're done with our sheets.